Hello, it's your boy, the Mad Arab here. I've decided to start doing videos that are slightly less about jokes, less about beards, and more just shit that I think about. And this particular thing has been bumping around in my head all day while I've been making beard oil, so I figured, fuck it. Clearly it's time for a video. Some would say it is unwise to discuss politics, but I don't see this particular issue as specifically talking about a political alignment that I side with, more so just explaining my issues with certain shit that's going on in the internet and subsequently real life. So anyway, the word fascism is thrown around like a skanky first year during a week. And before anybody screams, "That's sexist!" please note I did not specify the gender of said first year. So yeah, the word fascism, I've heard it used to describe Trump, I've heard it used to describe Milo, I've heard it used to describe fucking Jordan Peterson, I've heard it used to describe almost fucking anybody, and people will go, fascist, Nazi, throw them both in the same sentence, you're just a fascist Nazi prick, you're fucking sexist, and I just need to say this to just go, excuse me, just, let's put this term in a box, okay? So I did some research, and no, not just Google, I did real research. I looked in books which don't have a search function. Fuck! Okay, so anyway, let's start with a few dictionary definitions of fascism. Collins Gem English Dictionary. This little baby one that I got in fucking high school. Let's see. Fascism. Right-wing totalitarian political system characterized by state control and extreme nationalism. Okay, so right-wing is in there. Extreme nationalism and totalitarian. Cool. Alright, let's see. Oxford Advanced Learners Dictionary. I believe 1995. Okay. Fascism. An extreme right-wing political system or attitude which favors strong central authority and does not allow freedom of speech. The conflict between fascism and socialism. The dangers of fascism. Interesting. Okay, fascist, blah blah, a person who supports fascism. No shit. Okay, let's see. Just for accuracy here, let's make sure we get as many as possible. This is a 1972 Collins English Dictionary. Fascism. It's always before fashion, and I spot that word pretty easy because, you know. Anywho, so the Italian nationalist movement organized in 1919 by Benito Mussolini on military lines. Its policy being anti-parliamentary and anti-communistic with an economic system based on state-controlled capitalism. Cool. That's a nice definition. Alright, let's go for one more. The Collins Paperback 1995. Doobity-doobity-boo. Fascism. The authoritarian and nationalistic political movement in Italy. An ideology or movement like this. Okay, so the Italians defined it. Also, technically speaking, if you are not Italian and you use that word, that could be considered cultural appropriation. You fucking sexist, you fucking racist, you fucking fascist Nazi pig! Alright. Winding it back down. So, that's our dictionary definition. Let's see what Wikipedia has to say. Doobly-doo-doo-doo-doo. Definitions of fascism. Historians, political scientists, and other scholars have long debated the exact nature of fascism, i.e. it's a multi-headed hybrid and a complicated issue that you can't just slap on anybody that you disagree with. Each interpretation of fascism is distinct, leaving many definitions too wide or too narrow. One common definition of the term focuses on three concepts: the fascist negations, anti-liberalism, anti-communism, and anti-conservatism, nationalist authoritarian goals of creating regulated economic structure to transfer social relations within modern, self-determined culture, and a political aesthetic of romantic symbolism, mass mobilization, which means a shitload of war, a positive view of violence, a shitload of war, and promotion of masculinity, youth, and charismatic leadership. Interesting. Okay. According to many scholars, fascism, especially ones in power, has historically attacked communism, conservatism, and parliamentary liberalism, attracting support primarily from the far right. Okay, so what we've got so far: totalitarianism, a lot of right wing. So I can understand why some people would slam anybody that's fascist as anybody that's right-wing is fascist. However, there's a strong anti-liberalism, and I would find in my experience, other than the fact, and anti-conservatism. Holy shit, those are two things to do with the right fucking wing. Okay, anyway, like I said, I don't align with either of these. I'm not right-wing, I'm not left. I used to be very left, and then I fucking saw what crazy shit the super left were up to, and I'm just kind of like, okay, I'm just gonna move this way. Winding it back down. Okay, so let's see. Another article that I found. Doobly-doo. I had something here highlighted and it's unhighlighted itself. Let's see. We can fix that in post, but I said I wasn't going to edit this because I hate editing. Alright, it's hard to define, blah, blah, blah. Alright, let's read Mussolini's fucking definition. The guy who wrote the book on fascist oppression. Granted that the 19th century, it should be an Italian accent. Granted that the 19th century was the century of socialism, liberalism. This is really fucking racist. Democracy. This does not mean that the 20th century must also be the century of socialism, liberalism, and democracy. Political doctrines pass, nations remain. We are free to believe that this is the century of authority. A century tending to right, a fascist century. If the 19th century was a century of the individual, liberalism implies individualism, we are free to believe that this is the collective century, and therefore the century of the state. The fascist conception of the state is all-embracing. Outside of it, no human or spiritual values can exist, much less have value. Thus, understood, fascism is totalitarian, and the fascist state, a synthesis of unit inclusion of all values, interprets, develops, and potentiates the whole life of a people. Everything in the state, nothing against the state, nothing outside the state. Fascism is a religious conception in which man is seen in his immanent relationship with a superior law and with an objective will that transcends the particular individual and raises him to conscious membership of a spiritual society. Whoever has seen in religious politics of the fascist regime nothing but mere opportunism has not understood that fascism, besides being a system of government, is also above all a system of thought. So, since this is the guy that defined it, this is the guy who ran fascist Italy, okay, we could say, in summary, my personal interpretation, everybody's is valid, everybody's entitled to be wrong, okay, we don't want socialism, we don't want liberalism, we don't want democracy. You're either with us or you're against us, alright, and there was something else in there, yeah, so all your values, all that shit is tied into the state, and everything in the state, so you're either one of us or you're not, and if you're not one of us, you fucking dead, son. Alright, that to me would be the definition of fascism. No dissenting opinions, total totalitarianism, no free thought, with us or against us, okay? That would be my cut and dry definition, and I'm not a political scientist, I'm not a fucking sociology major, not that I care what most of them have to say, but that would be how I would summarize it based on Benito Mussolini, who was the first to use the term, okay? So, where does that leave us? Fuck it, let's see what George Orwell has to say. Alright, so he wrote this beautiful little fucking thing in, I believe, the Tribune. So this is George Orwell in 1944. The guy that wrote 1984. A pretty substantial book that is kind of eerily similar to how society's kind of going now, alongside with Aldous Huxley's Brave New World. More on that later. It will be seen that, as used, the word fascism is almost entirely meaningless. Oh, look, kind of like today. In conversation, of course, it is used even more wildly than in print. I've heard it applied to farmers, shopkeepers, social credit, corporal punishment, fox hunting, bullfighting, and the 1922 committee, the 1941 committee, Kipling, Gandhi, homosexuality, Priestley's broadcast, youth hostels, astrology, women, dogs. All of these things have been described as fascists. Yet underneath all of this mess, there does lie a kind of buried meaning. To begin with, it is clear that there are very great differences, some of them easy to point out, and not easy to explain away between the regimes called fascist and those called more justified than others. Thirdly, even the people who recklessly fling the word fascist in every direction attach, at any rate, an emotional significance to it. By fascism, they mean, roughly speaking, something cruel, unscrupulous, arrogant, anti-liberal, and anti-working class. Except for the relatively small number of fascist sympathizers, almost any English person would accept bully as synonym for fascist. That is about as near a definition as the abused word has come. But fascism is also a political and economic system. Why then cannot we have a clear and generally accepted definition of it? Alas, we shall not get one. Not yet, anyway. To say why would take too long, but basically it is because it is impossible to define fascism satisfactorily without making admissions which neither the fascists themselves, nor the conservatives, nor the socialists of any color are willing to make. All one can do for the moment is to use the word with a certain amount of circumspection, and not, as it usually done, degrade it to the level of a swear word. It is basically a swear word. The word fascist and the word Nazi are effectively swear words. I'll put a link to this in the doobly-doo, okay? So this topic's been kicking around in my head for a while, but months back, almost a year ago, one of my dear friends, someone who I adore, love, and respect, this was when Charlottesville happened, so a while ago, all right? He's saying, oh, yes, someone punched a Nazi in the face, and I'm just kind of like, it's kind of weird to just bubble these people all down to Nazis. And he's like, you don't think punching Nazis in the face is okay? You think punching Nazis in the face is bad? And I'm like, that's not what I said. And now, because that happened a while ago, I'm not going to go into the semantics, but clearly we had hit a wall there between him and I. It was just like, no. But I love the guy. He has a big heart, and I am sure with certainty that his heart is in the right place. So I was not judging him. I was just basically, well, this is kind of... Personally, okay, I'm never going to call anyone a Nazi until I see a goose step, a swastika, or a Jew in a fucking oven, okay? I'm not going to scream Nazi to reduce somebody down, so that I can condone violence and not listen to what they have to say, all right? And that's what I feel the super left and the Antifa movement, funnily enough, do. They basically reduce people down to fascists or Nazis or whatever ism or ist they want to call you, so that your opinions no longer matter. And because your opinion doesn't matter because it is against what they think in their Borg, essentially, it is okay for them to perform violence against you because they are standing up for the oppressed. And that is where the strange, you guys are kind of being fascist thing comes along. And frankly, I mean, it's not... I'm really surprised at the number of super left-wing or even moderately left-wing that go, but they're Nazis, but they're fascists. It's okay to do it. It's like, guys, you are justifying and condoning violence against people for having opinions. I'm all for stepping to defend people that are physically or, actually being attacked, but calling people like Peterson or Uniapolis or whatever fascists or Nazis so that you can completely dismiss what they have to say is wrong. And I mean, I don't agree with everything that fucking Uniapolis says. I don't agree with everything that Shapiro says. I actually disagree with a lot of what Shapiro fucking says, and Milo for that matter. Same with Peterson. There's a bit of stuff that I've kind of gone, So what I'm getting at is, you need to have that open form of discussion. And if you let that open form of discussion crumble, all we have is violence and war, which I think most of us don't want. So, sort your shit out. Stop calling people fascists. Until next time, peace! Yeah!